Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.
January 27th, 1936. A Gujarati gentleman asked that he was concentrating on sound, nada, and desired to know if the method was right. Maharshi replied, meditation on nada is one of the several approved methods. The adherents claim a very special virtue for the method. According to them, it is the easiest and most direct method. Just as a child is lulled to sleep by lullabies, so nada soothes one to the taste of samadhi. Again, just as a king sends his state musicians to welcome his son on his return from a long journey, so also nada takes the devotee into the Lord's abode in a pleasing manner. Nada helps concentration. After it is felt, the practice should not be made an end in itself. Nada is not the objective. The subject should firmly be held. Otherwise, a blank will result. Though the subject is there, even in the blank, he would not be aware of the cessation of nada of different kinds. In order to be aware even in that blank, one must remember his own self. Nadopasana or meditation on sound is good. It is better if associated with investigation, vichara. In that case, the nada is made up of chinmaya and also tanmaya, of knowledge and of the self. Nada helps concentration. January 28, 1936, talk number 149. In reply to a sadhu who asked if bhakti consisted in forgetting the body, etc., Sri Bhagavan said, what do you care for the body? Practice bhakti and don't worry about what happens to the body. In the next talk number 150, Mr. and Mrs. Kelly, an elderly couple from America and others of their company, desired to know what they would do to gain concentration in face of discomforts of sitting and the sting of mosquitoes, etc. Maharshi replied, the discomforts will not worry you if your concentration is right. Do not mind the discomforts. Keep your mind steady in meditation. If you have not the strength and endurance to bear mosquito stings, how do you hope to gain realization of the self? Realization must be amidst all the turmoils of life. If you make yourself comfortable and go to bed, you fall asleep. Face the troubles, but keep yourself steady in meditation. January 31st, 1936, talk number 151. The American gentleman is a little hard of hearing. Being accustomed to be self-reliant from his youth, he naturally feels worried on account of his hearing becoming defective. Maharshi said, you are not self-reliant, you are ego-reliant. It is good that ego-reliance is banished and that you become truly self-reliant. Again, Bhagavan said, there is no cause for worry. Subjugation of senses is a necessary preliminary for self-realization. One sense is subdued for you by God Himself. So much the better. The questioner said that he appreciated the humor, but that still his self-respect suffered. Maharshi replied, the self is only one. Do you feel hurt if you blame yourself or scorn yourself for your errors? If you hold the self, there is no second person to scorn you. When you see the world, you have lost hold of the self. On the contrary, hold the self and the world will not appear. February 1st, 1936. Talk number 152. Mrs. Kelly desired to know how she should best learn to meditate. Sri Bhagavan said, if she had made japa a habit, rolling beads as Roman Catholics do? She said no. Maharshi replied, have you thought of God, His qualities, etc.? The devotee replied, I have heard, talked, etc. about such themes. Well, said Maharshi, if the same be resolved in the mind without open expression through the senses, it is meditation. Devotee, I mean meditation as signified in The Secret Path and Who Am I books? Maharshi replied, long for it intensely so that the mind melts in devotion. After the camphor burns away, no residue is left. The mind is the camphor. When it has resolved itself into the self without leaving even the slightest trace behind, it is realization of the self. End of talk 152.